Hello friends and welcome to my new video. Today is Father's Day and I'd like to begin by wishing all fathers a very happy Father's Day and may their love with their children grow each and every passing day and may they all stay blessed and safe. Because it's Father's Day, I thought of making a small list of some of my favorite Bollywood films which have the father in a very important role. In most Bollywood cinema, parents have often formed very important roles, important parts of the narrative. But I decided to pick on five special films which are very close to me, and they are my favorites when it comes to the depiction of the role of a father in the movie. And I'd like to share those movies with you today. Before I begin my five most favorite movies, just a few special mentions of some other memorable dad characters in cinema. How could I forget Amitabh Bachchan in Aakhri Rasta, where he portrayed both the role of the father and the son. And I think as David, the father, he was absolutely excellent. Amitabh Bachchan in Aakhri Rasta. How can I forget Dilip Saab in Shakti, where he plays a duty-bound father and he has to constantly juggle his roles of a father and a cop in dealing with his wayward son Amitabh Bachchan. Another magnificent performance. There is a small role, a very small role, but left a huge mark with me, that of Farooq Sheikh as Ranbir Kapoor's father in Ye Jawani Hai Diwani. I think his character was called Sanjay Thapar. He was the father of Karan Thapar, also known as Bunny, Ranbir Kapoor's character in Ye Jawani Hai Diwani. I simply loved that character, essayed by Farooq Sheikh. I simply loved it. He was a quiet, loving father who always had concern in his heart for his son, but never overtly showed it, lest the son get annoyed. And yet there were those little things that he keeps doing for his son, which are so endearing and absolutely beautiful. I mean, it was a very small role, not a very significant role either in the context of the movie, but I absolutely loved that portrayal by Farooq Sheikh, so it's definitely there in my special mentions. Now coming to my five most favorite roles. Again, as always, these are my favorite films, not meant to be the best ever father roles or anything like that. Just my personal favorites. When I sat down thinking about which are the roles that I really liked and was close to me, these are the five films that came to my mind. And the first one is undoubtedly Dangal, starring Amir Khan, and I mean, he is absolutely brilliant in this movie, as he always is most of the times in most of his movies, and no surprises here as well that Amir is fabulous in Dangal. But it's his portrayal of Mahavir Singh Phogat which sort of stays with you even long after you've seen the movie. It just stays with you. At one level, he can seem like the typical Indian parent, who try to live their dreams, their hopes, their aspirations through their children. At times, it does feel like that. But then when he says the line that "Mari choriya choro se kam nahi," it's just, he wins you absolutely, totally. He wins you. I mean, for a father to have that view about his daughters is so refreshing, so wonderful, and so very needed in the context of the Indian society today. I think Amir Khan is absolutely fabulous in Dangal. Most of you would have seen the movie, as have I umpteenth number of times, but it remains one of my memorable father roles in Bollywood. Amir Khan in Dangal. The next movie again is a huge favorite movie in general, and I think it's Nasiruddin Shah's performance as DK, Devendra Kumar Malhotra, who is torn between his three children, Pinky, Minnie, and the third, more recently known child, Rahul, and his relationship with each one of them, his relationship especially with Rahul in context of his family, is simply marvelous. Nasiruddin Shah in Masoom as DK is one of the finest performances in a bag full of fine performances by Nasiruddin Shah. But as a father torn by guilt, torn by helplessness, torn by something in his past which he can't undo, and the very unusual and difficult bond that he shares with Rahul, it's expressed so beautifully by Nasiruddin Shah in Shekhar Kapoor's debut film, directorial debut film, Masoom. Wonderful, wonderful movie. The next movie, again with a very memorable father, is at times annoying, at times irritating, at times very self-absorbing, but lovable to the core. Bhaskar Banerjee, Amitabh Bachchan as Bhaskar Banerjee in Piku. He is one father a lot of us can identify with, and as I said, he can be really annoying at times, he can be really exasperating at times, but all the same, he is so lovable. You cannot help but fall in love with him by the end of the movie. And Amitabh Bachchan, as always, puts in a marvelous performance as Piku's father, Bhaskar Banerjee. One of my memorable dad roles. The next one is, again a huge favorite. It's Shah Rukh Khan as Rahul in Kuch Kuch Hota Hai. He's the quintessential college kid, the lover boy, the best friend you want to have, the lover, the boyfriend you want to have, but he's also a doting dad. And there are certain scenes involving him and his daughter in the movie which are so marvelous, which are so heart-touching. And I absolutely love Shah Rukh's portrayal as the father, perhaps a tad more than him being the boyfriend or husband or the other roles that he essays in the movie. But it's his equation with Sana Saeed, and the father-daughter relationship is absolutely marvelous. I simply love it. I still remember Shah Rukh's expression in the scene where the daughter deliberately fakes a sneeze to indicate to him that she's unwell, and he has to leave everything that he's doing and rushes to be with her. And that expression on Shah Rukh's face was absolutely superb. I think he's definitely one of the most favorite dads portrayed on Hindi cinema. Beautifully portrayed by Shah Rukh Khan in Kuch Kuch Hota Hai. The last film in my list is probably an unusual choice, but a lesser. It's the least known movie amongst all the 5 movies that I'm discussing today, talking about, and yet it's such a wonderful movie, and it's aptly titled enough for today's show. It's called Daddy. It's a film by Mahesh Bhatt starring his own daughter Pooja Bhatt and Anupam Kher in the title role of Daddy. And I think Anupam Kher puts in a wonderful performance as Anand Sareen, the ex-star who is now a recluse, a loner, a complexed man, an alcoholic. And the movie is about him trying to repair his relationship with his estranged daughter Pooja. And it's a movie made at a time when Mahesh Bhatt was at his peak, and he really made wonderful movies, and Daddy is another prime example of that. And Anupam Kher excels. I mean, whenever we think of the Anupam Kher Mahesh Bhatt association, Saransh is a name that often comes first to mind. but in my books, he is no less in Daddy. I think it's a wonderful, wonderful performance. Daddy, I don't know whether it got theatrical release or not. It released on television, I know that. I don't know whether it got theatrical release, but it's not a movie seen by too many people, unfortunately. But if you do get hold of a print of Daddy somewhere, either on YouTube or anywhere, do watch it simply for the brilliant, brilliant performance by Anupam Kher. It's a wonderful movie, Daddy. Well, so these were my most favorite father roles in Hindi cinema. Had I extended this list to cinema from all over India, I would have had a list of more than 50 movies, perhaps, which are very, very close favorites of mine. So I decided to restrict it to Hindi cinema for this episode. Maybe some other day, maybe some other episode, I will talk about some of my other favorite on-screen fathers. That's all for this episode, and until the next time, bye for now.